like to call to order the Proctor City Council meeting for Monday, April 17th, 2023. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson?
Present.
Councilor Johnson?
Present.
Councilor Reuter is excused. Councilor DeWall?
Present.
Mayor Ward is also present. Please let the minutes reflect all others in attendance, including Administrator Rich and Attorney Bray via telephone. Looking for a motion to approve the City Council meeting minutes for Monday, April 3rd, 2023.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Would be
Johnson.
Or Johnson, I'm sorry. He switched spots on me. It's confusing, you know? So Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor DeWall seconds that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Comments and suggestions from the citizens present. The public comment and suggestion period of this meeting is when the City Council offers a time for everyone in attendance or watching from home to address the City Council. Once we move on from the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the council unless the mayor acknowledges you. As a general rule, the council will listen to all comments but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The council will not engage in dialogue. However, any council member can ask questions. If you'd like to address the City Council during the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6289. Before you begin, please state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the City Council will be prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or boisterous conduct that disrupts the meeting or the security of the public. Is there anyone at this time that is interested in participating in the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting? Please come forward or dial 218-628-6289. Good evening.
Good evening. Eric Benjamin, 719 2nd Street. I guess I'm here just to talk about the 2nd Street reconstruction project a little bit. I know it's kind of you're going to be reviewing it tonight, reviewing the bids. I guess my suggestion is, I know one of them was possible rebid. I don't think that would be a very good idea right now. We're already starting to push the deadline for spring here, and who knows what the summer's going to bring for weather even too. So I would say that I hope that as a council, you guys can come to a resolution to hopefully pass this through and get this project going at least this year. And if it does spill into next year, it is what it is at that point. You can't control weather, but I think there's a lot of factors that the city can control to make this project successful.
Thank you. Does this council have any questions for Eric? No? Thank you for your input. And we'll give that about 30 seconds for anyone else willing to call in. Hearing none, we'll move on. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Before we make that motion, I would like to make one addition under 6D. I'd like to add Resolution 14-23. And with no other changes, we will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
1423?
Yep. I'll make the motion to approve tonight's agenda with that addition. Is there a second?
Second. Support.
Second by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. I will make that motion, pulling item 1A.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. So under 1A communications, letter from Midway Township. As you can see in your packet, we received a letter dated April 6, 2020, is that correct? April 6, 2023?
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. And it was addressed to Administrator Rich here at City Hall, referencing first responders. Dear Ms. Rich, regarding your email on March 21st, we understand Proctor's position. However, we do take issue with the proposed $200 per response. We have a contract with the Midway First Responders to provide service to the town. Midway First Responders are members of mutual aid, as is the City of Proctor and most surrounding communities. While from time to time mutual aid may not be equal, there appears to be no requirement that it be so. To the best of our knowledge, there is no provision that one community can charge another for response, and therefore we disagree with paying any amount for services. We understand that with lack of sufficient numbers of volunteers and increasing calls, there may be times when first responder response might not be available, and will advise our residents accordingly. We look forward to times of open communication in the hopes of providing the best possible service for our community. Sincerely, Jim E. Arid, Chairman, Midway Town Board. I read that just to give council an update on where Midway's response is to the latest conversations Administrator Rich and I believe Chief Helquist have had with them regarding our first responders. So this may be something we will be addressing later down the road. But I just wanted to put it on council's radar to be aware of their position. Is there any questions or discussion regarding that letter?
In
Councilor Benson?
mutual aid, when it comes to Midway, is there a discrepancy between the number of responses Midway provides to Proctor versus Proctor provides to Midway?
I will defer to Administrator Rich.
Yeah, that's correct. Proctor is finding ourselves responding more to Midway calls than getting mutual aid from Midway. So it's, in Chief Helquist and the fire department's eyes, it's no longer mutual. It's the city of Proctor responding to their calls.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to 4A. Clerk advises council, F-101 jet damage report. Administrator Rich.
Thank you, Mayor Ward. We had some damage reported to the jet that is on loan from the National Museum, and our street crew was going to repair the damage, but upon closer inspection, they noticed that there might be some structural damage. So we contacted, with the help of Councilor Benson, we contacted a contact at the local 148th for help, and also the National Museum. The 148th has been more than helpful in trying to respond to the issue. We haven't heard anything yet from the National Museum, but I just wanted you to be aware of it, that we're on it. And I was reminded that this jet was put up, it's past its 50, it's coming on its 50th.
Next summer will be the 50th anniversary.
And any information I can get on what maintenance or structural inspections have been done, you have a longer history with it than I do, would be really helpful in figuring out how to fix the problem.
So
We are aware of it.
So all the damage is from wear and tear, weather related?
I think so, yeah.
No vandalism damage?
No.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Any discussion regarding that?
I thought there was a crew here not too many years ago that went through that entire jet. Darren Anich was the chief.
It seemed like a few years ago,
Was it longer?
but they did a real nice job the last time they were here, but it was probably 10, maybe 15 now.
That's a few years.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to 4B, flooding sanitary sewer update. Administrator Rich.
So we're happy to report that the cooler weather has slowed down the flooding concerns for now. The creek is probably down about 4 feet from this weekend, and our sanitary sewer levels are leveling off to the point where today we determined that it was, we could downgrade the water restriction notice to a water conservation notice, just asking people to be a little bit more mindful about their water usage to give the sewer system additional time to catch up.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding that? Hearing none, we'll move on to 4C, Speedway concession stand demo quotes. Administrator Rich.
About a year ago, I asked your permission to, at the request of the Speedway and the fair, to have our street crew demo the old concession stand at the Speedway. This is the one, when you come in the driveway, you see it immediately front-facing. While the street crew was more than willing to help out with it, there were some issues with an electrical panel. It's in very close proximity to some other buildings. Of course, our street crew has limited time in their short summer season and limited help. So I did take the liberty of going out to get some quotes for this. And both of the quotes came under my purchasing policy. Both of the quotes were given at prevailing wage, and both of them were from local contractors. I did run the quotes by the street crew, and they thought that they were very fair estimates. And in reality, they said they wouldn't be able to get to this concession stand probably until early fall. So yet the concession stand would be around for another season for the Speedway. I can share these quotes with you if you wanted me to share them out loud. I can certainly do it, but I can say that the lowest was $3,420, which I believe is a very fair price for removing, for demoing, for removal of the materials, replacing with Class 5, and returning to grade.
I think that sounds like a fair price. Can you share who?
Yep, the lowest bid quote was from T.G. Carroll, and then the second one given was from Shelton Excavating.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding
Just
the
one,
Speedway?
Mr.
Yeah, Councilor Wolf.
This will be coming out of budget funds.
Yes, fairground budget funds.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir. Did he say how long this would take him, Administrator Rich? I just see he had a date of when the quote would be good for, but.
Yep, actually, the lowest quote said that they would like to get in as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. Just thinking of time frame for the Speedway and their event, so.
I would assume it's a 2-day demo and
Yeah.
haul away, and then maybe another day for all
Class 5.
Class 5.
Yep. We'll let Counselor Johnson look at those and see if he has any questions before we move on.
Thanks.
No further questions? All right, we'll move on to 6A. Resolution 13-23, declaration of surplus equipment. In your packet, there's a resolution declaring the 2013 Dodge Charger Squad 106 to be a surplus item. This resolution would direct the vehicle to be sold for junk due to the compromised frame caused by excessive rust, but we would use all the usable interior equipment to be removed and reused. So looking for a motion to pass Resolution 13-23.
So move.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Councilor Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just curious, Chief, how many miles are on the vehicle?
Over 100,000.
Why was there all the rust? Is it just because of a lot of road usage or maintenance, or is
Someone
it just?
will love this, a poor engineering design. Because on top of, on one spot where the local frame shop showed us, there was 2 fins on top of the frame that acted like a dump truck with an open spot on it. And he goes, look at this, there's 3 inches of salt and dirt all the way along the top of the frame, and it was rusting all the way through the frame on both sides of the front of the vehicle, and there's other rust holes all the way through the frame also. So that one design with that fins like that, that's really compromised the front of the vehicle.
Something to watch out for in
Yes.
the next vehicle?
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
that's why, yeah, that's why it's surplus. We can't safely operate that vehicle anymore.
Chief Gatus, who drove this car mainly?
Officer, it was assigned to Officer Mosier.
So is this is the one that had the exhaust issue as well?
It went in for that and we found out
Okay.
this problem.
So it's the same squad, though?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing,
Well, just so people understand, 100,000 miles on a squad is like 200,000 miles worth of wear and tear.
thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 6B, softball field number 1, outfield purchase agreement. In your packet was a purchase agreement between the City of Proctor and Independent School District 704 to purchase the portion of the outfield of the softball field number 1 that the city had owned. Looking for a motion to approve the purchase agreement. I'll make that motion if there's a second.
Second.
Signed by Counselor Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6C, Community Education Veteran Luncheon. In your packet, there was an email sent out. I don't know if the whole council got it. Administrator Rich and I received it regarding this veteran lunch, Community Education Veteran Luncheon hosted at the Proctor Area Community Center. And it looks like we are going to consider using 10% of the gambling funds in the amount of $500 to sponsor the Proctor Hermantown Community Education Veteran Luncheon. Is there a motion to approve that? I'll make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Benson. Any further discussion? Counselor Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is there a date for this?
They do not have dates chosen yet.
Thank you.
It sounded kind of like there were going to be multiple events, that it wasn't just one. But I could be wrong on that as well. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6D, Second Street Bid Award and Resolution 14-23. And I will hand the floor to SCH Engineer Matt Wolf or Administrator Rich.
We can take this together, yeah. So you have a resolution in front of you accepting the Second Street bids. To give you some background on the project, the City of Proctor received a $1.25 million grant from the Local Road Improvement Program. Part of their grant requirements are when a city is of a certain size, namely a small city, they're required to have their local county sponsor the grant and administer the grant, and in this case, that applied to us. So in the process, we've been working with the county. You did approve that partnership some time ago with a resolution. The county has been working with our city engineer and staff in putting out the bid specs and the proposals. It went through state aid approval. The county is then charged with putting the bids out, collecting the bids, and awarding the bids. Part of the LRIP process, however, is you need to concur with the county's decision with the lowest bidder. You were sent under separate cover those bid results. And Utility Systems of America has been determined the lowest bidder in this project. The good news is the project has come in $500,000 under our estimates. So that is a savings to our local taxpayers and also the residents on that street for special assessments. So tonight we're asking for you to accept USA as the lowest bidder on this project. From here, it will go to St. Louis County, and they'll approve it as the lowest bidder as well. And with that, I'd open it up to questions or anything else Matt Wolf would like to add.
I don't think I have anything to add. You did a wonderful summary. Thank you. The only thing, it would be the cover letter shows the range of bids. I would tell you, it's when they're grouped that close together, those are always good results. When they're under our estimate, it's even better. So we're pretty comfortable with the bids that we did get that, you know, that's really what this project costs. So as Administrator Rich said, whatever action the council takes tonight, it goes to St. Louis County for their April 25th meeting, and then I believe the following meeting as well. It goes to two meetings in a row at the county.
So we'll open the floor up to council to make a motion to accept the bid. Now, on that Zoom meeting, we had two options, right? We could accept the lowest bid or reject all bids. Those were the two options
That is correct.
so I guess council will have to take action on the item tonight, and those would be the two options that we could choose from. I guess I would be okay concurring with the lowest bidder in response to how the county awards it, you know. If the county goes with USA because it's lowest bid, then I would concur that the city of Proctor would do that as well. So I'll make that a motion if that suffices. Would that, does that make sense? Okay.
I will second.
Councilor Benson seconds my motion. Any discussion? Councilor Benson?
What do you attribute the low bids from? Because going into the bidding season, I would have thought that they'd be higher, or at least in line with your estimates.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, Councilor Benson. We were a month or 6 weeks behind where we wanted to be to bid, but in talking to our contractors, there's still a lot of work to be had by our contractor, our earthwork grading contractors in northern Minnesota. Unfortunately, our building biddings for this community and many others are not seeing the same benefits, but just there's contractors are still hungry out there is what I'd attribute this to.
Well, and from what I'm hearing on my end is there's a lot of road dirt work that hasn't been put out for bid yet, which I
Right.
find kind of odd, so.
And I know the paving contractors I talked to all said they need more paving work for this summer.
Right.
So,
Well, nice job.
yeah. Thank you.
So who's, if I,
Councilor Johnson?
who's responsible for, you know, the inspection and all, is it St. Louis County or is it us or?
So St. Louis County is your project sponsor. They hold the contract with the contractor. They take care of administration, payments, change orders, liquidated damages if it came to that, those types of things. Your agreement that you approved months ago with the county, the city of Proctor provides the day-to-day inspection. Through contract, that would be SCH, we would have someone out there full-time all summer long, working with Jess and the street department. We have weekly meetings every week that we provide minutes for, that ends up in your council packets as well, and to which the residents on the corridor would be invited to. So the day-to-day inspection would be us. We provide all of the measurements of all of the quantities and documentation of what gets installed. We hand it to the county, and then they process pay estimates, change orders if needed, et cetera.
So regarding this project, we're under a tight time frame, right? We got the school we're dealing with as far as bus routes and Second Street's a main artery through Proctor. Who's gonna be looking at the time frame and being sure those items are met? Is that the county or is that us?
That is a team effort.
That's a team effort.
So we would have a kickoff meeting with the contractor immediately, and even before the kickoff meeting, Administrator Rich and I have discussed just having a separate meeting with USA if they're selected, to let them know of the urgency. Obviously, we're bound by school, right? We don't really want to start till after school's out, but we want to be done by the time it's opening, or at least close. That's a pretty tight window for this size of a project. So it's getting that contract, getting that schedule, from USA up front. It's getting updates from it every single week at our weekly construction meetings. From the county standpoint, they can, and it sounds like they will, require a schedule update every single month prior to issuing payment to the contractor. And then it's up to the county to enforce the liquidated damages if schedules are not met. And in a recent discussion with them last week, they do that quite often if schedules are not met. So we got a good sense of, as long as we can document that things are not being met, that they would be executing those.
Perfect. And I like the idea of meeting with them prior, letting them know we're on a
Yeah.
tight schedule and, we
Yeah,
need
and
to hit these deadlines.
so this follows MnDOT. I should have looked the number up, but for this Valio contract, I think it's maybe like $2,500 a day is in the contract for liquidated damages. There's a MnDOT published schedule which we're following. I just forget the number on it.
Thank you.
The other thing I'd like to add about the timeline and team efforts is we also need to be realistic about our timeline too. I mean, we're going to work hard to make sure that things stay on task and on time, but recent weather events, supply, all those kind of things come into play as well. But we'll do our best to make this a successful project for Proctor.
And I think, Mayor, the two biggest concerns we probably have, one is bedrock. I mean, we got some borings done, we have an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly any more than you do. And two is there still is a concrete pipe backlog in the world. So getting the concrete pipe ordered like day one. Last year there were a lot of delays because contractors could not get concrete pipe. I've heard this year that our suppliers have stocked some of the standard sizes to try to avoid that, but those are probably the two biggest risks outside of rain.
Yeah, and from my understanding, those liquidated damages wouldn't apply if those were the cases, right? Act of God type of things or supply chain issues.
Correct. There are provisions to protect the contractor if things are out of their control, like it rains 30 days in a row.
Right. Nope, I get that. Any other questions, concerns, issues?
If I may, Matt, do you know, like, are they gonna shut the whole thing down? Or is that open for discussion, or are they gonna do one block at a time?
We, in our specifications, told them how they could do this. So the 5th and the 9th intersections have to be open in some capacity. And like 5th, we only had allowed, I think it was a total of a 2-day, 48-hour complete shutdown because there's utilities in there. We'll have to shut it down completely. So we did talk about that at length with your street department and what is realistic. We talked to the DTA and the school district as far as how they're going to run around. Otherwise, during construction, they have to do their best effort every day to provide local access at the end of the day. So it might be just a gravel path, 1 car wide, enough to get in front of a house. But that, just like when they did Elmac and 6th, they make their best effort for you to be able to drive through at the end of the day. But it will be closed through traffic throughout the entire project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose? Motion passes. We also would have to make a motion to approve Resolution 14-23, which in short states that we will go with Utility Systems of America for Second Street project. So looking for a motion to approve that resolution.
So move.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That'll bring us to 7A, closed meeting pursuant to State Statute 13D.05 Subdivision 3 and 13D.03. Looking for a motion to close the regular city council meeting for attorney-client privileges.
Make the motion to close.
Councilor DeWall made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5. I'll make a motion to go with the second lowest bidder based on our responsible bidder ordinance with concurrence from PUC.
Second.
Second by Counselor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to members' concerns. Counselor Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only item I have is that with Proctor had our bill, sales tax bill, be approved through the Senate, going on to another committee. The House chair did not want to even consider any bills this session. And Representative Davis, who has been a champion for Proctor, co-authored a number of bills along with Mary Murphy on Proctor's behalf, pretty much said no. Some of these communities have waited 2 years to get to this point. If we're going to do it, at least get these communities on board this session and have any new rules next year. So it seems that there's some bipartisan support to have that sales tax go through, even though I do believe that it'll make its way into the omnibus bill and be signed by the governor. So there's that.
Awesome. Thank you. Was that everything, Counselor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Counselor DeWall? Thank you. Counselor Johnson?
I just want to thank our staff and maintenance staff for the sewage thing and getting that word out to our residents, and our residents were awesome too, and, you know, lowering their consumption or whatever to help out the situation, and it's good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll echo those thoughts as well. Next meeting is another meeting I will not be able to attend due to work commitments. So there's that. Counselor DeWall will do a fabulous job filling in again. And I just wanted to give, I know Counselor Benson referenced Representative Murphy, and I know she was just awarded the Orville L. Freeman Award for Distinguished Service to Greater Minnesota in Agricultural Issues. So just wanted to commend Representative Murphy on her distinct honor there. So other than that, I got nothing further. City Attorney Bray.
Yes, nothing.
Thank you. Administrator Rich.
No, nothing.
Thank you.
Was the last ball if he's got anything?
With that, we'll entertain a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $73,871.75.
So move.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second? Second. Sent by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Councilor DeWall made the motion to adjourn. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you.